Hey, what's up? So before I get started, I quickly wanted to say that I'm gonna have some screenshots looping on here as I talk about the game and my thoughts on and my notes that I wrote and whatever. There will be some graphic violence and blood and gore going on. Not extreme, but there will be a bit. So I just wanted to give a fair warning about that. All right. Oh, all right. There we go. Man, how do I get to start? I had to start this over again because I did a thing wrong. Anyways, one of my first thoughts and while playing through this game, I just got done playing through hard mode on New Game Plus. I actually completed a second playthrough. It was pretty cool, pretty fun, funny. It's funny because like by the end of the first playthrough, the one where I beat the game, I had become pretty powerful. You know, you get these upgrades, and of course you get more powerful and stuff. So I wasn't sure about if I should play it on an even harder difficulty, because there is a difficulty after hard. I don't remember what it's called, and I plan to go play through it again just for the heck of it, for fun, just to go blast away and whatever. I don't know when I'll end up doing that though. But when I was starting New Game Plus, I was wondering. I was like, should I put it on the hardest difficulty? And I was like, oh, I'll just play it on hard just in case to get a feel for it. It might be more hard than I'm expecting, but no, it was a breeze. It was a breeze, especially. Because I had to think, like, after a couple or a few hours into the second playthrough, I unlocked everything. Didn't unlock everything, every upgrade through the first playthrough, but for about a few hours into my next playthrough, I was fully upgraded and just became super godlike and invincible. Well, not invincible, but just super badass and powerful. So it was just stroll through and destroy everything kind of thing. Pretty funny, pretty cool though, fun stuff. Anyways, so yeah, I'll probably play on the hardest difficulty at some point later. So one of my first notes, anyways, not a first thought, was like I don't know for sure, but it seems like it's not as optimized as it could be. And this is specifically on PC, and I didn't have many issues, but I did have some issues and randomly crash here and there. Did have to turn off a certain, I think, lumens lighting. I didn't have to, but it just crashed a lot less with that setting off. So that kind of sucks. But I think the reason that it's like that is just because of the photorealism, which is a weird thing to think about with the game, because specifically when it's to deal with the cinematic type parts of the game, like they're good looking, but they're also awkward. Mostly because of the stiffness, I think, of the animations. There's a little bit of awkwardness to the cinematics. They're not bad, they're just awkward. So it's beautiful. That's a really beautiful game, and the environments themselves in the game are pretty stunning. Like, it's really good looking. I remember I'd mentioned this I did a video after I played the demo. I was like, damn, that was a good demo. So I don't know, it weirds me out a little bit, because I'm like, is it so unoptimized because it's so, you know, like realistic, like photorealistic kind of crap? And that's just my guess. It's annoying. I've never really been insistent or a big fan of like realism in video games. I don't dislike it, I don't hate it, but I prefer fantasy. I like my stuff to be fake, you know. I don't know why so many devs and publishers and stuff insist on this realistic looking game and stuff. Not even like realistic gameplay. I don't like realistic gameplay either. But visually, I don't know why things everybody's just so, we're gonna make it realistic. Like, you know, it's just like, why? Like, anyways. So let me see. Yeah, mostly I had a couple other notes that's similar to I just part of the cinematic too, I forgot. The depth of view makes it look cardboardy and weird, like a pop-out book. That's how I describe it. And like a pop-out, like the way the characters kind of pop out from the background. In the cinematic specifically. In the game it doesn't look the same, but the cinematics are just a little awkward. I actually liked that the cinematics, I don't know, it seemed to me like they might have focused the budget on the actual game itself, and like, because just when you switch between game and cinematics, you know, it's like, well, cinematics are kind of funky. But I was glad the focus was on the game itself, the environments and the gameplay and stuff, instead of the cinematics, you know. So I thought that was cool. Some fun stuff, fun notes. I love throwing motorcycles at enemies. That is super cool. You pick up motorcycles, you get to pick up like benches as well and chairs, computer monitors. You can throw them at your enemies and stuff. But my favorite was the motorcycles. That's pretty fun, man. Just grab a motorcycle, throw it at people. It was good stuff. Can't do it with a car though. But yeah, the motorcycle stuff was cool. The shotgun is badass. Really, really fun. It was almost as good as the Tomb Raider reboot shotgun, which is the first Tomb Raider reboot. That shotgun, I've never forgotten that shotgun, and shotguns in most games are pretty cool. Even like Bulletstorm, you know. But Tomb Raider is still the most memorable to me. I'm just like, I can still picture like the many places I had used the shotgun in that game. Man, that shotgun is nuts. The shotgun in this game is very fun. There's two different shotguns. They kind of perform the same. They reload differently and they're mechanically slightly different, but they mostly felt the same. I did prefer the shorter clip one. I don't remember the names of these shotgun types. Passively reflective bullets is incredible. This is one of the upgrades you get. You're just walking around shooting your enemies, and at the same time, like when they're shooting at you, you reflect the bullets off, and they'll just die from it. And they shoot you, and then they die. It's been after I had that upgrade, I would just hear enemies fall over, and I'd look around and be like, "What the heck?" And they're over there all shot up, but like just because they shot themselves off of Robocop. That's funny, man. It's really great. That's part of that being too powerful thing. There are not a whole lot of upgrades that are like that. I mean, the game has a lot of cool like abilities and whatever, but the reflective bullets is my favorite one. That one's just epic. I love the environmental destruction and the blood splatter. Oh, dude, yeah. When you shoot enemies, it's crazy bloody. It's funny. I never remembered RoboCop being rated R. I looked it up. I looked and I was like, wait, that was rated R. It makes sense, you know. I don't know why I always thought it was like a PG-13 movie or something, but it makes sense. It was rated R. The game is also rated mature. It's not even rated like teen, or it's rated mature. So I was like, oh damn. And I was like, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. It's bloody, man. When you shoot enemies, it actually, the blood splatters on the wall the way that it's crazy, man. It's crazy. The blood just goes. It's pretty nuts. The way that the animation and the after, like when you see it, because like it does the blood splatter thing. You'll see like blood on the desks, on stuff like that, on the wall. Depending on where you shoot them and the angle and stuff, and that's pretty crazy. I'm not a big fan of like. Anymore. I'm not. I don't need my games to be bloody or my entertainment or my movies to be bloody or anything. I don't need that, but I'll still notice it. You know, yeah, it's different for me now after seeing some stuff. But I guess I've had enough time to recover from that. Anyways, some really cool parts in the story. Were the hallucinations and having memories of your family, your wife, and your kid. That was cool. Those parts were really neat. I like that. Like Robocop's glitching out, you know, and having his memories, and it's pretty neat. I like that. Those parts were really cool. I have an interesting note. I don't remember writing it, but it was too easy for the most part. Playing through it, even without like full upgrades, you can get your butt kicked. I didn't die too many times. I think I died like 4 or 5 times maybe, where I was like, oh, whoops. Probably died like up to 10 times throughout the playthrough, where a few of the times I died was just because I was being too aggressive. That's how I am in any game I play. I'm like pretty aggressive and stuff, but like a few of the times I died were like, oh crap, that was hard. Like that was a hard spot. But mostly too easy. Also, not enough combat in comparison for me, anyways. I would have liked a lot more combat. I would love to see a wave mode in this game. That would have been cool, like a challenge mode type thing where you fight off waves of enemies or whatever, that kind of a thing, you know. There is plenty of combat, but the balance between like story and walking around and combat, not the best. A bit slow. But the combat is fun. Also, I think part of that is just the fact that the combat is too easy. Like, you know, almost every like combative part that you enter in, there's like 3 to 5 enemies, and that's it. And then you do story for friggin' ever, and then you go back and you fight 5 enemies, and then you go back to story. There's just not enough enemies generally. But there were some scenes with like 10 to 20 enemies and stuff. Just generally, I had that complaint. Mostly that's a complaint just because it's a fun game, you know, if you want to play a fun shooter type thing, you know. That was cool though. But yeah, it would like even in my second playthrough, it was fun strolling through it. It was, but it makes me want more. Like I said, I would have loved to have seen a challenge mode or something like that. You know, some kind of extra end game gameplay modes where you get more combat out of it because it's a lot of fun. Let's see. Radio Last Chance Safari. Too late to stop environmental damage, so view all the endangered species before they die. Oh, oh, oh. There was like a lot of the radio stuff is cool. You turn on the radio and you can listen to like news updates and stuff. Whatever. One of them was like an ad for environmental damage or something. And so it's already too late to save the planet. So just check out all the endangered species before they're gone. Or I thought that was an interesting one. I thought there's probably a little more to it that I liked it and wrote that down, but I can't remember because I only listened to it once. There's a part where the mayor talks about the VIP room at the hospital. Way better than his partner cop room, trying to make himself look good on TV. Another cop calls him out for being rich. Doesn't happen in real life. I don't know why I wrote that. I probably would have, I wrote that down for myself to remember, and I just don't remember what exactly it is, other than some parts of the story I would compare to real life. Like that one, it's like somebody calls him out for being rich, and that's not what would happen in real, like a cop in real life doesn't, you don't see that, right? Like if they're on the news or whatever, you wouldn't see that happen. Like in real life, you know, it's kind of funny. Like everything, there's always propaganda and fake crap in TV and whatever kind of entertainment that we consume, because it's designed to make us have hope for something in real life when it's nothing even close to that in real life. It's all corrupt and evil and whatever. Oh man, dude, this is a complaint. All right, so there are these cool two-handed weapons in the game. I don't think you melee with them though. Yeah, you don't. You do not melee with them. But you get to throw them at enemies. But dude, so many times that it's rare to come across these two-handed weapons. Those enemies don't show up very often. As a specific enemy type that comes at you with these two-handed weapons, after you take them down, you can pick up their weapon and throw it. But almost every time that opportunity came up, couldn't use the weapon. Like. Just couldn't use it. It was wasted potential. Wasted potential. And I was like, man. Anyways, there's an advertisement in the game which I thought was really funny. And this is just a fun one that I wrote down. It's a program or something called Afterlife, and it's for rich people so that they don't die. Kind of like the chips in the brains and, you know, whatever, being immortal. And I just thought it was funny because it's an actual ad in the game, and it's something like, it starts off with something like, actually I think I have, let me check real quick because I hadn't deleted it yet. There's a part of when the ad first starts, there's some text on the screen. Do not be amazed when a man grows rich, for when he dies he takes nothing with him. But then immediately after, it goes into Afterlife, OCP's answer to death itself. And then it goes into this whole thing about like how you can stay alive or whatever. I forget exactly what it was, but I just thought it was funny. Thought it was entertaining. Definitely for rich people. I also was thinking it could just be them selling something that doesn't work. Like it could just be a scam, right? Just to get rich people to give them money and then end up not working or whatever. And then a little piece of the game that was in the game story-wise was a policy to treat robots like people, and they were like doing this human rights thing. That's part of the story. So stupid but funny. Anyways, so I'll go into a few little notes that I have. That's mostly what I have about the gameplay and the game itself, and I have a few little notes for like quotes and whatever from the game that I liked. Generally, I like the game. I don't remember how much I got it for. Probably around $20. You know, I probably picked it up around there. I was waiting for a sale, and I finally picked it up. So on that part, I don't know what I would recommend this at price wise. It just depends on the consumer, right? Like how much money you have, right? How much money are you willing? That's usually what I like. How much am I willing to put into games? Like sometimes I'll see really good sales, and I'm like, you know what? I still want to wait for that to be cheaper. And it's really hard right now because sales have sucked for at least 5 years now, maybe even 10. Yeah, probably around 10. They every. The sales have been really bad. They used to be better, and now we're in this period where even like good sales are hard to come by. Really, like almost every game now goes on sale for $30, and it's gotten worse, of course, while they raise the price, the normal price to $70. So of course, the sales take longer to get cheaper, which is annoying as heck. But it happened before the normal became 70, though. The sales have been kind of crappy now in comparison to what they used to be. Anyways. Let me see. Death row in the game is called a mercy seat. I just thought that was interesting. They referred to it as a mercy seat, and I was like, oh man, that's interesting. There's a story partially about building Cop City, Delta City. That's right. Yeah, it's a little like there's a little document that's talking about building a Cop City, which is Delta City. And then there's also another part of the story that's about cops versus mercenary cops, the private police force. It's interesting stuff. Let's see. One of the quotes that made me laugh was by Robocop. I have a large supply of bullets, and I forget what it was in reply to, but it was like I think what's her face was talking to him, and he's like, I have a large supply of bullets. It's not a problem. Oh, there was a quote from some character in the game, and I think they were working at a homeless shelter. Oh wait, no, it wasn't even that. That's right, I forgot. It was just, and it was, I think it was random. I can't remember. It was like random, like the NPCs in the world talk sometimes as you're walking by them and whatever. And this one was like, I don't give a shit about politics. They give free food for handing out flyers. Yeah, just people they get free food to hand out flyers for stuff they don't care about, as political papers and whatever. It's crazy because like that's pretty believable. I forgot that was a thing, you know. Crazy stuff. I like it. I like it when there is some reality of corruption and evil in these stories and whatever. But and everything, no matter what, even when they address the corruption and the bad things, whatever, they always counter it with the propaganda. That's how it works. Anyways, this was an interesting line. I liked it. This was Robocop. I do not remember my family. I can only feel them. And he's in a session with like a therapist because he's got this therapist to make sure that his human part is still part of his robot part, kind of a thing, you know, right? Because man machine, and so there's a therapist that wants to make sure that he doesn't go full robot and go psychotic and they lose control of him or something, whatever, you know, that kind of a thing. Anyways, I have like just a few little more things to talk about with that I don't really care about getting into. So I don't know, man. I just wanted to share some thoughts on it, on beating the full game. Thought it was pretty cool and fun. Not a big fan of the slow movement. Even you get used to it, and it's fine. It's doable. Like, you know, as the world isn't huge, it's not enormous, so you don't need to be running fast through it or anything. It's just that's just how it is, man. It's a little bit slow paced as far as that goes, but. And I got used to it and it was fine. But it doesn't make it not be annoying, though, that slow pace walk. But anyway, I don't know as far as rating this game. It's cool I think for anybody that was a Robocop fan of the original movies and all that, like it's pretty cool. Like it's like I hate the system. I hate the whole like purpose of cops, and the laws are all nonsense and crap, and they don't take down the real bad guys or whatever. Generally speaking, you know, we can say sure they stop criminals, I guess, but no politician would be in place where they are. No billionaire would be a billionaire if laws were actually, you know, upheld and whatever. MSM wouldn't get away with the lies they get away with if, you know, this was a real thing. So whatever. So anyways, I'm trying to think, like, I would, just as a cool game, I like it, but it's also not enough combat, a little too easy. But you know, loyal to the the source material, I guess, or whatever. You know, it's pretty cool. Like, it's a fun game. I would say 7 out of 10 if I were to score it. But possibly, I'm trying to think, because I have fun with it. Like, I really like it. I have like 40 hours played on it. I liked it enough to play a second playthrough. Like, I don't. There's so many games where I don't do that, even when I want to. Even when I want to play a game a second time, it'll be a long time before I get around to doing that. And sometimes it might just be because they're longer. You know, like, this is around a 20-hour game if you take your time, right? Like 24, 25 hours ish. Yeah, like taking your time doing like every little quest, exploring every little thing, which that was cool. I forgot there's a little bit of exploration that you can do, a little bit. It's not an open world like collectible finding game or anything, but it's pretty cool. Anyways, yeah, that's I don't know, man. I would like to have something better to say at the end of this, but I like the game. It's pretty cool. At $20, I'm pretty sure I paid $20 for it. Is, you know, totally thought it was worth picking up. I will talk to you later. Bye bye.